Hey, I'm Zach McDonald, your real estate agent with Real Property Associates, and this is another episode of our real estate news breakdown series. And in this video, we're going to analyze an article that Q13 Fox actually put out where they interviewed Windermere's chief economist, Matthew Gardner, and asked him his thoughts on the real estate market. In this interview, he starts off just kind of asking him what are your general thoughts about the real estate market? And Matthew's quoted as saying, the first questions are we seeing a cooling? He goes, absolutely. Is it almost overdue? And of course, he says yes. He thought last year that we would see the cooling here that we did in 2018 in the springtime. And he continues on kind of backing this up, just saying, you can't continue to see the prices jump like they have been, 8, 10, 12%. And his reasoning is because incomes are not matching that. Incomes aren't keeping up with the price growth. So at some point, something's got to give. He ends that thought saying that there always must be a relationship between income and home prices. And he thinks that in 2018, we finally reached that inflection point where they weren't matching up very well. And his overall thought for 2019 is that we're going to be moving back to a more normal, rational market. I'll continue on and then we'll kind of give my thoughts here as we move on. The next question he was asked is, do you think we're in a real estate bubble? And his answer was, no, not at all. So if you've been worrying about this, you don't need to be worried about it. Everyone remembers, as he continues on, that the recession and the bubble burst, but what caused it was, get this, irresponsible lending. That was the big deal. And anybody that was involved in real estate or lending would know that a lot of people were getting mortgages that they couldn't afford. And I remember when my mom was a real estate agent during this period, and there were some pretty crazy things going on. She was almost pre-approving people for loans, and she was a real estate agent, not a lender. The sentiment now in the lending world and in the real estate world is that people are actually really highly qualified for mortgages. So we're not seeing the same mortgage malpractice, if you want to call it. We're not seeing the same low quality of mortgages that we were seeing. So we've got a different ball game going on. So it's not the same as it was back then, even though prices have gone up dramatically like they have before. His overall thoughts, to sum up the article, are that there's going to be a continual softening in the market this year. It's going to be shifting more towards buyers. And he goes on saying that he's expecting to see this more throughout the course of the year. And I've read other articles and seen him in other places talk about the market. And I've been sharing this same sentiment in my market updates the last 6-7 months, as we've seen definitely a correction in the market. And it's not a time necessarily to be concerned or worried that we're having some kind of an epic crash, but we definitely have seen a correction. And I agree with him that at some point you can't have the growth without the income growth. And I have a few loyal YouTube followers that will also comment and talk about that. And I agree, you have to have some kind of a correlation between the incomes and the price growth. Now what's interesting though is that incomes in the Seattle area are not necessarily, they are considerably higher than they are other places in the world, and so are the home prices. But as far as the ratios go, the actual cost of your home compared to your income isn't that much different than it is other places in the country. So the Seattle area is an expensive place to buy, but when you actually look at the averages and the percentages, when you think of, okay, well, it's going to cost me, let's say it costs you about $700,000 to buy a house in Seattle, and your income is about $121,000 as a family, you're going to be right in the same ballpark as a lot of the rest of the country. So thanks for watching this video. I hope this was valuable in some way for you. If you are thinking about making a move or a home purchase here in the Seattle area, I'd love to be a resource for you. And until next time, we'll talk soon.